Welcome back. Now we go to Laura Booth with your 5-day weather forecast.
That bitter cold we've had for the last few days is finally coming to an end, and this weekend it's about to get a whole lot sunnier. Here's your 5-day weather forecast. We will reach a high of -7 today with scattered flurries into the evening. 1 to 3 centimeters of snow can be expected going into Saturday. Tomorrow, variable cloudiness and a high of -4. Sunday will be sunny with a high of -4, and we'll finally feel some relief from the cold as we make it into the next week. Monday will have a high of 3 with mixed rain and snow throughout the day. The rain will continue into Tuesday, but we will see a welcome high of +7. That's all for your weather update. Now back to the newsroom.
Thanks, Laura. A rescue mission for 3 Canadians missing in the Antarctic may see some progress today. A possible break in poor weather conditions could allow rescue efforts to continue after being postponed by officials yesterday. The Canadian crew went down in Antarctica earlier this week, and on Wednesday, signals from the missing aircraft's emergency locator were detected. Yesterday, the rescue mission was put on hold as poor weather conditions made it difficult to spot the missing aircraft.
People have been injured during today's demonstrations in Cairo's Tahrir Square. The demonstrations mark the 2nd anniversary of the Egyptian Revolution, which overturned Hosni Mubarak's autocratic regime in January 2011. Thousands rallied, denouncing the new Islamist president, Mohamed Morsi, saying the goals of the uprising have not been met. Earlier today, youths clashed with Egyptian police as stones were thrown and tear gas fired. Egypt's emergency services say 110 people have been injured so far in the protests, led by mainly liberals and secularists. Egypt is now in a struggle between ruling Islamists and opponents who say Islamists are pushing for more complete power.
North Korea is continuing its threats today, targeting longtime rival South Korea. The threat warns that Pyongyang will attack the South if it joins UN sanctions put in place last Tuesday. North Korea says it views the sanctions as a declaration of war. But a special envoy to South Korea's president-elect says the new government in Seoul will stand up to North Korean browbeating and continue to push for dialogue. Yesterday, North Korea threatened it would be going forward with a 3rd set of nuclear tests aimed at the United States.
Canadians are being urged to leave Benghazi due to increasing insecurity in Libya. The announcement has added Canada to a growing list of Western countries advising their citizens to leave the city. Canadians are also advised against non-essential travel to the North African nation. Political uncertainty, conflict in Mali, and a recent hostage crisis in neighboring Algeria have created a climate of insecurity in the region, especially for foreigners.
And now with your sports update, here's Mark Mullen.
Humber's volleyball teams were in action last night, hosting the Mohawk Mountaineers. The women came out strong and dominated Mohawk early, taking the first set 25-9. Humber kept the momentum going into the 2nd and 3rd sets, taking them 25-16 and 25-11. The women remain undefeated and improved their record to 14-0 on the season. The men also had their chance to take on Mohawk. The Hawks got down to business early, taking the first set 25-20. The Mountaineers took the 2nd set, but Humber was able to bounce back and take the last two, 25-19 and 25-14. The next game for both men and women is tomorrow on the road against Sheridan. Humber's men's and women's basketball teams are hitting the court tomorrow. They'll be hosting the Redeemer College Royals here at Humber. The women are looking to improve on their 8-4 record and continue their winning streak. They're 4-1 at home and 4-3 on the road, while the 8-5 men are 2-3 at home and 6-2 on the road. Last time Humber and Redeemer met was back in November, and the Hawks came out on top. NHL teams getting ready to hit the ice tonight. The New York Islanders are rolling off their 7-4 win over the Leafs last night and are heading to Boston to face the Bruins at 7. The Ottawa Senators are on the road taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning at 7:30. The Pittsburgh Penguins are in Winnipeg to take on the Jets at 8, and the Anaheim Ducks will host the Vancouver Canucks at 10 in a rematch of the season opener. The Leafs' goaltending issues and third-period woes are back. The Leafs had a 3-1 lead over the New York Islanders last night, but that quickly disappeared. It was all tied up at 3 going into the 3rd, but the Isles made it 5-3, and goalie Ben Scrivens got the hook. Leafs coach Randy Carlyle says it just wasn't Scrivens' night.
Ben didn't have it, but I don't think a lot of our players had it. So it's always the goalie gets the hook. It was kind of a mercy pull from a standpoint that goals that were going in, the pucks were, a couple of them were around our feet. We just couldn't get a hold of it. Then the 5-hole goals, you know, like those are deflating for the individual.
The finals are set for the Australian Open. Andy Murray beat Roger Federer this morning in the first, third, and fifth sets of the match. This is the first time Murray has ever beat Federer in a Grand Slam tournament. Murray will face Novak Djokovic Sunday for the championship and is looking to win his second consecutive major. That's it for sports. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Mark. Just before you go, we thought you'd want to hear about this. If you're planning a trip to South Africa, be on the lookout for crocodiles on the loose. Thousands of crocs have escaped from a farm along the border of South Africa and Botswana. Efforts are underway to recapture the animals. The crocodiles, who are farmed for their skin, escaped when dam gates were opened to relieve pressure caused by heavy rain and flooding. So far, about 2,000 have been recaptured and taken back to the farm.
Crikey, the late Steve Irwin would have had a field day there.
I just hate crocodiles.
And that's all for Humber News today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Bazzelli.
And I'm Katie Boyven. Humber News is written and produced by journalism students at the North Campus. You can also catch us on YouTube. We'll see you next time.